Hey, New Life. Do you ever sometimes feel a tension as you read through the Bible and trying to organize or order the priority of the different commandments that God gives us? Jesus' contemporary Judaism did. And one of the things that we find often in the Gospels where he is in conflict with some of his contemporaries is they are wrestling over what is the priority of the commandments. It's not that Jesus came in and tried to violate the law. He would never do that. That's not the way you demonstrate yourself to be God's anointed Messiah, by disobeying God's commands. But rather it's asking the question of what is the priority. And we see this in an episode recorded in Matthew, Mark, and Luke when Jesus and his disciples are walking through grain fields on the Sabbath. His disciples become hungry, and so they pluck the heads of the grain and rub it in their hands and eat the grain seeds. Some of the Pharisees came and asked the disciples why they were doing what was not lawful on the Sabbath. You see, they put the observance of the Sabbath over the needs of the human individual. Jesus, however, comes to their defense, and he argues that the needs of the human individual are even more important to God than the Sabbath. See, I understand this because I remember growing up at a time when, well, let's just say that Sundays were Sunday, and you didn't work and you didn't really have a lot of fun outside of going to church. And I always would ask my mom when I was wanting to go and play on Sunday afternoon, well, if the pastor has to work on Sunday, why can't I go play? You see, it's a question of priority. And Jesus is going to hold up the value of the needs of his disciples over and above the observance of the Sabbath. He observed the Sabbath. He didn't even break the Sabbath. But here he says, God values human need more than the Sabbath. And he's going to make a statement to conclude this. He says, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Therefore, the Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath. Now, in the Gospels, Jesus is going to use the term Son of Man in three ways. Number one, speaking about a human being. Foxes have holes, birds have nests. The Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Number two, he speaks about his passion predictions, predicting his coming death. The Son of Man will be handed over into the hands of men. And then finally, he speaks about himself fulfilling the role of the judge of the end of the age, when the Son of Man comes with the angels of heaven. Now, whenever we find Jesus speaking about the Son of Man, we need to run it through that grid of three. And it's clear from what we find in Mark's gospel, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Therefore, the Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath. That he means the Son of Man there as a human individual. In Matthew's version of the story, he goes on to say that there's something even greater than the temple here. He's not speaking about himself. Rather, he's speaking about human need and our need to not get so wrapped up in trying to do what we think God wants us to do that we ignore the need of the human individual that's next to us. His disciples were hungry, and to feed their hunger, they plucked grains of wheat on the Sabbath. It's not that Jesus is saying the Sabbath isn't important. He's saying that human need is more important. And you see, we struggle with that still today, don't we? How often do we get so caught up in our relationship with God that we ignore the needs of those around us and not realize that what God really prioritizes is the needs of others and our ability to help them, to show mercy, to show kindness, and to show love. So here's our challenge today, New Life. How do we go about sharing the same priorities that God has, the same priorities that Jesus had? Human need even trumps our need for certain spiritual disciplines. Doesn't mean that we ignore them, but it means what priority do we give? We need to follow Jesus.
Okay, I love this vision, the life of Christ. I'll never forget, I took the life of Christ in Bible college, and it changed everything that I thought about. It's like the Jesus style of the Word. We all need it, and I thank you for joining us. Please do not forget to subscribe so you can really partner with us as we move through this over the next several weeks together as a church. We're growing. Let's keep it going. Don't forget to subscribe.